Le Mans Ultimate exits early access shortly with its brand new 1.0 update, and today we'll show you everything you need to know. So first we'll cover the new cars coming to the game, then take a look at the new GT3 tyre model, and then the new features and updates. Now we're also giving away a complete Le Mans Ultimate bundle to one viewer, more info on how to win that at the end of the video. Now the new 1.0 update gives us two new cars which are completely free to all players. The Mercedes-AMG LMGT3 and the Aston Martin VALKYRIE LMH. The update also features the revised BMW M4 LMGT3 Evo, which is available to all players who own the current BMW M4 DLC. Important to note here though is that the changes in this revised car model are purely cosmetic and offer no performance advantage over the current version. Now we'll show you a lap with each car, starting with the Mercedes-AMG GT3 at Spa. So overall, I'd say the AMG is probably the easiest GT3 car to drive in the game. It's incredibly stable in all corners, both during the braking phase and corner entry, and its safe platform should make it confidence inspiring for drivers of all skill levels. That being said, the car does suffer with understeer during the mid-corner and corner exit when applying the throttle too early. This was probably just due to the default setup being too safe. My favourite part of the car though is its sound. Inside the cockpit we've got a really cool transition from overpowering transmission whine in the lower gears, and then once we hit 4th gear the brunt of the V8 engine noise takes over and floods the cockpit. That attention to detail really gave me that slight impression of sitting in a race car where you don't just hear the engine sound but also the other aspects from around the cockpit. And on top of that, it also sounds really good from the outside. Now let's take a look at the Aston Martin VALKYRIE at Le Mans. Now the first thing you'll notice is the car's sound, which is absolutely intoxicating. It's got to be one of the best sounding cars in any current simulator, and the fun also translates into the driving aspect because it's such a safe platform. You've got stability in all corners and a really nicely detailed force feedback, which makes it easy to understand what's happening with the car at all times. That being said, the default setup was a little too on the safe side for me, and the car suffers from severe understeer on corner entry. Its brakes also seem to be on the weaker side, which could be due to the fact that the car lacks any kind of hybrid system. Some simple changes you can make in the setup to combat these weaknesses, however, are turning the brake bias up to 53.7 and the max pedal force to 99%, then lower the front anti-roll bar to P4 or 5. Overall though, you've got a really fun car both sound and driving wise, which is sure to make this one a popular sight in multiplayer races. Included in the update and free for all players as well is the entire set of 2025 liveries for the hypercar and GT3 classes. The LMP2 2025 Le Mans liveries still haven't been implemented yet, but are confirmed to arrive in a future update. Now let's talk about the newly tweaked GT3 tyre model, and the simple explanation here is that it keeps the same aspect of the current tyre model, but there's now a bit more grip in the rear tyres. We still have that very responsive and snappy front end, which I'm a big fan of, but now instead of the rear tyres instantly losing grip like in the current model, there's now a slightly gradual loss which gives the driver a chance to correct their steering to prevent a loss of control. Testing the AMG at Spa, I noticed this the most in the pull-on corner, where you can now confidently turn in without fear of the rear stepping out provided the tyres are warm enough. I also found that if you do carry too much speed into the corner or you don't trail brake appropriately, instead of being punished with the loss of control of the rear, the car now understeers instead. It was also now possible to do a Rouge Radeon without having to lift up the throttle even on the default setup, and we can see in this example at Lecom that I'm able to feel the rear of the car stepping out and then counter steer in time to save it due to the loss of rear and grip no longer being instant but more a gradual process. Overall, I think this new tyre model is a decent balance between catering to the new and casual players, as well as being challenging enough to appeal to the more competitive driver. Casual players can get that jump in and drive feeling again, and it's now noticeably easier to control the car and keep it on track. But poor driving technique now results in noticeably slower lap times, and it's still no longer possible to slide these cars into the corners to gain time. This means that you can just get in and drive and have your fun with these cars, but if you want to see those fast lap times, then you'll need to put in the time and effort to learn to control them with proper driving techniques. And now finally for the various new features and tweaks to the game. First, we now have position LED panels located on the sides of each car. Now these are functional, so they update in real time as cars gain and lose positions. Currently they only show a car's current position, but hopefully we see added functionality for them during pit stops, just like we saw in the real life WEC broadcast. Various menus have also had a facelift, with the race weekend being given a more streamlined experience for season selection and the update of the GT3 class colour. The basic setup menu has also been revised to include all of the most commonly used options, including tyre selection and electronics, so that you no longer have to flick through different tabs just to change your tyre compound or brake bias. Now that's everything in the brand new 1.0 update, and now that the game has left early access, the question has to be asked, is it actually a finished product? Well, on paper, the title now provides everything that was promised. From the 2023, 24, and even now 2025 WEC season content, to co-op races, and even the online driver swap system now implement and set to debut in the next coming weeks, we now have a fleshed out and engaging simulator that allows us to enjoy the experience of the World Endurance Championship, and the game's now a huge step up from what it was when it was released in 2024. That being said, their work still isn't done, and there's two things that I'd like to see before I can really call it a completely finished product. First, we have the hypercar tyre model, and my issue is that it currently shares similar characteristics to the previous GT3 tyre model, where there's just way too much slip angle abuse allowed in the tyres. This results in a situation where the fastest way to drive these cars is to slide them into the corner entry, and in many cases locking the rear wheels when braking into a corner can often gain you time. Now, whilst this tyre model makes the hypercar class more approachable and accessible for beginners, it doesn't promote correct and realistic driving technique. That being said, I'm sure Studio 397 will use the lessons that they've learned with the new GT3 tyre model to provide an experience that's both enjoyable for the casual player base, but also challenging enough to keep competitive drivers engaged. Then finally, there needs to be a proper single player career mode implemented. When we see other licensed games in the racing genre like Assetto Corsa Competizione or even other sports game franchises, they all share a common aspect, which is that they allow you to at least play out a full season of the respective league that the license represents. And for me to call Le Mans Ultimate the fully featured simulator of the World Endurance Championship, we need to be able to have that same experience of playing out at least one season of the WEC competition. The good news, however, is that there's already a single player career mode in the making, which is slated to release in Q1 of 2026. And there's even content from the European Le Mans series coming, including 3 new tracks as well as the LMP3 and ELMS spec LMP2 cars. So there's a lot to look forward to here, and the future definitely looks promising for the Le Mans Ultimate title. So now for our Le Mans Ultimate Complete Bundle giveaway, and to win all you need to do is tell me in the comments section what new feature you're looking forward to the most in the 1.0 update. I'll draw the winner at the end of the week. Now if you've got any questions on what we covered here today or about Le Mans Ultimate in general, then be sure to leave them in the comments section, and as always, thank you for watching.